ancestors survived stress so that we could exist, you know? I can't remember how many it is. It's something like, if you go back 100 generations, you have something like a billion ancestors. I can't remember. It's insane, but you're basically related 100, 100 of those relatives back. You're related to some of like the big wigs of wartime. Like you're probably related somehow to Genghis Khan. You're probably somehow related to Alexander the Great, combinations thereof. Like if we go back, we are related to all the great warriors who survived, I believe. When you think about it logistically, it's kind of fascinating. So how do we use stress as not just a survival mechanism, but how can we look at our stresses and turn them around to alleviate them, to turn on our bodies, to be able to have pleasure? So stress can be incredibly helpful. And if we don't know how to deal with it, it can become an issue, right? So we don't need stress to become an issue. We actually just need to have some tools to be able to manage it. Now, some of our ancestors who did survive some of that big stuff that went on historically, whether they survived long enough after battles or whatever to see their offspring survive, who knows? So maybe you're like the grandchildren that they never got to meet. You're maybe related to them, so maybe they didn't pick up those biological information or that genetic information that I was mentioning. Like maybe they didn't pick up the genetic history of survival tools. Who knows? I'm not sure, but it's something that I contemplate. Like if all my grandmothers had these amazing abilities to survive wartime. My one grandmother living in Europe, like in the middle of a war, having children during World War II, being born in World War I. I believe, yeah, she was born or just before World War I or just during World War I. That's crazy survival going on. That they have all these abilities to survive, and she survived well into her early 80s. So how do we take information that our ancestors have learned, and how do we glean from that anything that we can use to be able to not just survive, but thrive and have pleasure? We're going to add the pleasure part into it, because we do come to a place of that we can thrive. And to me, thriving includes pleasure as well, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe thriving doesn't include pleasure for you, but it does for me. So I'm hoping that if you are listening, that pleasure is included in thrival for you as well.